What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today is another installment of Macro Monday here on the channel, where I review a beer from a macro brewery or a macro-esque beer from a craft brewery. And the beer I'm reviewing today comes from the Labatt Brewing Company, and they're under the AB InBev umbrella, and they're headquartered in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and this is their Labatt Blue Light. So they're calling this one a Pristine Pilsener, but it can also be classified as an American light lager that comes in at 4% alcohol by volume, 10 IBUs at the time of review. This big old can is just under 3 months old. So full disclosure, I've had this beer numerous times before, so I thought I'd finally give it a proper review. Now, I did review this as a part of a blind taste testing back in 2018 with my cousin. It was this and the 3 big BMC light beers, so Bud Light, Miller Lite, Coors Light. This came in dead last. It had this kind of weird astringency off flavor in the finish. I don't know if I had maybe an older can or whatever the case may be, but I didn't care for it. It was by far the worst of the 4, which I didn't think I'd say. However, since then, I've had it a couple times at like, a barbecue or just, at an event or whatever, and it didn't give me the same issue as far as the astringency goes. So we'll see how this big can fares today. Now, here in the Buffalo, New York area, Labatt Blue, I always say, is king. They have a bunch of sponsorships here. They are very entrenched into the Western New York community. And in fact, I reviewed just Labatt Blue, the regular beer, as the first ever review for this Macro Monday series about 2.5 years ago. I think it was early 2023. So I thought it's finally time to give the light version a go, and we're going to pour it into my Sabres glass. They're terrible, but it's a Bud Light glass. So what does that mean? Absolutely nothing. I usually use one of these shaker pints, tumblers, whatever you want to call them. I have a couple of them. I usually use the Genesee Cream Ale one. Now, this can also, it says on the bottom here, brewed in the US. They do brew Labatt Blue in Rochester, pretty sure it's at Genesee. So just keep that in mind. If you get it in Canada or abroad, you're definitely not getting it from the Genesee Brewing Company. Anyway, we're going to give it a pour here and hope that this is pretty decent. All right, let's just say that. So I'm going to let you guys see it, but I'm going to duff this pour. I do have my, maybe not. I want to go aggressive because I want a decent head here. I did not duff the pour, and that head, you know what? Not a bad pour. Not a bad pour. All things considered with these beers, out of these big-ass cans, I always duff the pour. Not this time. That beer looks absolutely sensational in the glass. Yeah, I mean, that is your typical American light lager. Golden straw color, super vibrant, bright white head, about 2, maybe a little over 2 fingers. It actually looks very creamy, not so sudsy as it typically does. Good carbonation rising through. The clarity is brilliant. You can see the bottom here. If I go like this, you can see the good carbonation bubbles for sure. But I would say that looks like, and the head's sticking around, which is nice. Sometimes with craft lagers and craft light lagers, it doesn't stick around, but that is sticking around. And I'll tell you right now, it looks awesome. I'm docket points because it's in the Buffalo Sabres glass, and they're fucking terrible, even though they're my favorite team. But it doesn't matter. It just looks nice. Anyway, let's get a nose. It doesn't smell like anything. What the fuck? Okay, a very, very slight hint of like a corny malt character, maybe a touch of like the red apple and white pears I'll call out in like a lot of lagers. It's really just like grainy, sweeter, corny malt. Just a little bit though, like it's very faint. No kind of off aromas here, which is nice. Yeah, it's sweet, corny malt. I'm not going to bullshit you and say I'm smelling hops or I'm smelling anything else, really. Just a little bit of like red apple core, and that's about it. It smells inoffensive, and I don't know how many times I got to mention it, even during these Macro Monday reviews. When I drink an American light lager, and a lot of times American adjunct lager, all I want is a crisp, clean, and very inoffensive beer that's super refreshing. I don't need a flavor blast. If you're going to drink a beer like this, if this is like your favorite beer, you're probably pounding out 6 packs of it. Maybe you buy a 12-pack, 18-pack, 24, 30 rack, whatever. You're not looking for a lot of flavor. You're looking to have a sessionable beer, right? An all-day crusher. It smells fine. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Well, I can safely say that it doesn't have that weird... I must have had a bad can when I did that blind taste test. Or maybe the beers were maybe a little bit too warm. Because this is extremely inoffensive, but holy shit. This has almost no flavor. Like, now I reviewed in recent memory Bud Light, Miller Lite, Coors Light, the 3 aforementioned light lagers, and I think Coors Light was my least favorite of the bunch, maybe. Bud Light was my favorite, but this fucking doesn't taste like anything. This doesn't taste like anything. Body in this, higher side of light, lower side of medium. It's not super watery, which is impressive, because some of these can be really super watery. Sure, it is a little bit watery. It's 4%, but it's not like super watery. The mouthfeel, like I said, crisp, clean, nice moderate carbonation, super refreshing and crushable, inoffensive. The taste. This is one of those reviews where, and this rarely happens, I can't say much about it. It's an omnipresent, sweet, slightly corny kind of, I'd say, it's about it. That's about it. Like, it's about it. Yeah, sweet, corny, slightly malty, front to back. Not even getting that red apple core. On the finish, there might be something I can confuse with like a slight floral grassy hop character. Very minute, but like almost not noticeable. Sweet up front. Firmly dry on the finish. No bitterness to speak of. I could crush fucking a ton of this. Like, I could. It's inoffensive. It's pretty refreshing. It's warm outside. We're in the middle of a heat wave. It's really quenching my thirst, but there's also other 4 to 4.5% beers that have more flavor than this that I enjoy. That's better than this. I don't know if I was doing them blind, and I'm going to do blind beer reviews at some point in the future. It's going to happen. And I'm probably going to start off with doing some of these macros. Maybe I'll do this and the aforementioned 3 BMC light beers just to kind of, update myself after not doing it since 2018. But if I was to do all of them blind on what I tasted, this might, I don't know if this would win, but this wouldn't come in last because it's very inoffensive. There's nothing going on and it's fine. I think the Coors Light would have probably came in last because the nose was offensive. It really was. That nose was weird from Coors Light. The taste wasn't bad, but this is better than that, but like doesn't have more flavor. It's hard to say. Anyway, 4% you can't tell. I don't know. Do I need to say more about this? Probably not. We're already pretty long. What do I give score-wise to a crisp, clean, refreshing, inoffensive light lager that has almost no flavor, but you don't hate it? I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5. I don't remember what I gave Bud Light or anything. I'm just going to give it a 3 out of 5. I think this is all right for what it is. I don't hate it. I don't like it. I'm not an American light lager drinker, but I could easily take down a decent amount of this and not hate my life doing so. So I think that's a win in itself. So 3 out of 5. Stylistically, like I'd probably give it into the mid to high 3s. Like maybe like a 3.5 to all the way up to like a 3.8, 3, maybe 9, depending on my mood. But like, yeah, it's funny doing these reviews, how I'm doing them, because a lot of people, you just don't drink beers like this. You're not going to sit down, turn on the camera, try to break it apart for something that is like this, right? So when I sit down and drink this, I realize how inoffensive these beers are. And so many people are like, oh, these beers are trash and whatever. I don't think they're trash. I don't think any beer is trash. Do you know why? We all have different palates. So like one person's treasure is another person's trash, vice versa. It happens. I can see how people get down with this. If I'm going to drink a lot of a beer like this, I want something with a little bit more flavor, but that's a personal preference. Anyway, price point. It's going to vary depending upon where you live. I paid $2.49 for that 24 fluid ounce can. And then, depending upon whether you get a 6-pack or a 30-pack, the price is going to differ. I think a 6-pack's like around $7, maybe $7.50. But then if you get a 30-pack, it's like $25, so it's less than $1 a can. Usually, you get into that 12 to 18-pack. It's usually about $1 a can. That's where a lot of people probably buy this, is 12, maybe 24. But regardless, price point, it's not terrible for what it is. I don't drink these beers, so I'm not going to sit here and advocate it. I think the price point's okay for what they are. Not much more to say about it. So, yeah, I mean, this is one of those beers where, like, there's not a whole lot to say about this beer in general, but it's an okay, decent, inoffensive American light lager. I gave it a 3 out of 5. What do you give it? Also, what is your favorite American light lager? I do plan on reviewing Busch Light in the future, and probably I want to get Pabst Light, but they only come in the 2 places I saw were 12 packs and 30 racks, so Not buying either of those because I don't drink a lot off camera outside of what I review. So if I can find a single of Pabst Light, or maybe just bite the bullet and get a 12-pack down the line, I want to give that a go because I think I might like that. But outside of that, there's so many fucking macro brands and like sub-brands and subsidiaries and all this crazy shit. I don't know. We'll see. But Busch Light's probably the next one on the docket. Anyway, I'm going to shut this one down. If you've had this one before, comment section. I'd love to hear from you. Like I said, 4%, you can't tell. It's fine. It's fine. Just like this review. It's all right. Not the best on YouTube. Probably not the worst, but it's fine. It is what it is. Cheers, everyone.